Hello friends, I'm Narendra Verma once again before you. As you know very well, under Business Studies for Class 12 CBSE syllabus, we have been dealing with the chapter number 6, that is staffing. And today, what we are going to have discussion on, that is types of selection test. In the previous video, when I discussed the process of selection, then one step of the selection process was selection test. And at the time, I told you that we'll have a separate video on the types of selection tests. So here it is, right? So very first I just write down as many selection tests are there in the syllabus, and then we will have discussion on them one by one. So there are 5 tests in your syllabus, that is intelligence test, aptitude test, personality test, trait test and interest test, right? The tests are there more than these as well, but these are there in your syllabus, so we'll be having discussion only on these right now. Okay, so very first let's talk about intelligence test. See, as by the name of the test, it is very much clear. This test is conducted to measure the intelligence level of the candidate. Okay, if the organization is willing to select a candidate, then it has to test the intelligence level of the candidate. Okay, and for the same, how it is done, the organization is supposed to require about the intelligence quotient, that is in short known as IQ, right? Okay, we'll have discussion about this intelligence quotient in detail. Okay, so the organization requires to know what is the IQ level of the candidate. Okay, and for that the tests are conducted. Okay, these intelligent tests are conducted just to know the learning ability of the candidate and just to know his ability of decision making and making judgments, right? Because if you see in your nearby area, then among your friends as well, you can see you find one of your friends intelligent. How you come to know he is intelligent? Because he is making good decisions, he is making good choices, he is making good judgments, right? Or maybe possible that he learns very fast. His learning ability is awesome, amazing. Okay, so he thinks pretty well. He has different aspects of thinking. Okay, let me tell you one more thing. This is somewhere related to mental ability. Okay, so this intelligent test is one of the important psychological tests because it is related to the psychology of a person. Psychology is a different field which has various types of tests, and this is one of them to test the intelligence level, right? So how we come over this conclusion that particular person is intelligent or not, or how much intelligence does he possess or not? Okay, just to know about his IQ, means intelligent questions. Okay, so this intelligence question is calculated with the help of one formula. What is the formula? Mental age upon chronological age multiply 100. Okay, we put the values here, then whatever the score comes, that is known as IQ score, and this score is seen in one particular table which is known as the IQ score range table. Okay, it is given there up to what level the person is considered what kind of intelligent. Okay, there are various categories like very gifted, average, above average, etc. Okay, let me tell you about Isaac Newton and Albert Einstein. They had IQ score around 160. That is highest in the history, right? So only about, this is the estimate, 0.1% in the entire world people have this. Okay, so it is very rare. Most of the people have average IQ, and that comes under 100 IQ score. Okay, so let me tell you about this, how this is calculated. See, chronological age is very simple. That is what the actual age of a person. If you are 15 years old, 30 years old, so that is your chronological age. The biggest twist is here about mental age. To know about the mental age of a person. How it is determined? It is determined by asking the questions of the particular age. The questions may be numerical problems or other complex problems. Say for example, there is a student of 6th class, okay, and what will be the age of a student in 6th class, around 10 or 12, right? And if we give him the numerical problem of 12th standard, and if he is able to solve it in 12th standard, what is the age of a student? Around 16 or 17. Okay, then his mental age will be known as 16 or 17. Say for example 17. Okay, so 17 is his mental age and his chronological age is what? 12. Then we will multiply it with 100 and in that way we will calculate. What we are getting? 141.36. This is also very rare example. He will come under the category of gifted. He will be known as gifted child. You can imagine the student who is studying in 6th standard, if he is able to solve the questions or numerical problem of the 12th standard, that means his intelligence level is very much high. Got the point? Okay, so this test is conducted, like I told you, to know the decision making ability and judgment making ability, or you can say the learning ability of the candidate. Okay, so in organization this test is very much common. Okay, so it was all about this test. Fine. You can learn more about it through other sources. Now let's move on to the second type of test. So the second type of selection test is aptitude test. Okay, actually this word is made of two words, apperception plus attitude, that becomes aptitude. Okay, so what is this aptitude? See, this test is conducted to determine whether the candidate has potential to learn new skills or not. What is his capacity and up to what level he can develop that? What is his entire area of learning new skills in future? This test is conducted to know whether the candidate is able to learn new things or not in our organization. Okay, and for that different kind of ways are adopted to check this aptitude thing. Okay, there can be some tests like verbal aptitude test, in which some kind of case studies are given to you and you have to use your logic. Okay, and maybe possible that some numerical problems are given in which you have to use your logic and solve it faster, or it can be in form of non-verbal, means some kind of icons are given to you and then you will have to choose how one icon is different from the others, where it is lacking, etc. Okay, so there can be multiple types of aptitude test. Okay, this is very much common test which is used in the exams of government jobs. Okay, wherever you apply for any post, then they conduct a written test and more or less you find the aptitude related question in that. Okay, whether these are related to English, Hindi, teaching aptitude is also there if you are applying in the teaching field. Okay, or the specific field questions are there if you are applying for the specific field. Otherwise some general aptitude questions are asked. Okay, numerical problems are also asked. Fine, logical reasoning, verbal reasoning, non-verbal reasoning, such kind of ways are there to check the aptitude of an individual. So the organization conducts such kind of tests to determine the potential of the candidate to learn new skills, right? How much he can develop his capacity. The organization wants to know that, and these tests help organization to know one more thing, that how well the candidate can perform in future. So these tests are conducted to keep the potential area of learning, improving, developing of the candidate for future, right? So this is all about this kind of test. Now let's talk about the another kind of test. So another type of test is personality test. Okay, see, as by the name it is clear, personality means related to person or the personal characteristics of a person. Okay, means these tests are conducted to determine the certain characteristics of an individual in terms of his values, beliefs attitudes, emotional stability, okay, and his maturity, etc. See, most of the time these tests are conducted especially for the jobs which are there related to public dealing. Okay, because in public dealing jobs, a candidate is required to have such kind of characteristics. So that is why personality test is very much required. Okay, the organization is willing to know what kind of belief a candidate has, whether he is theist, atheist, whether he believes in humanity, cruelty, he believes in hard work, he believes in delaying the work. His belief has to be known. Fine. What is his thinking? Okay. What is his attitude? How he takes the thing whenever challenges come, how he reacts to those. So that is also there. And what are his values? Personally, what he thinks about life, what he thinks about work, what he thinks about other person's life. Okay. And his emotional stability. Suppose a person is very much emotional. Okay. He is employed in a bank at the post of a clerk. Okay. Now, when he accepts the deposit, if he pays attention towards the emotions of the people more, then what's gonna happen? Somebody cries and gives different kind of excuses, and this clerk may commit a mistake due to his emotional instability. Okay, so that is why through the test it has to be known that whether the person is emotionally stable or not. Okay, so for knowing about these such kind of personal characteristics of a person, these tests are conducted. Let me tell you, these tests are very much difficult to design and implement. Okay, because there are multiple types of personality. So different kind of categories are made as per the category of the work the organization has. Okay, and according to that, the distribution of the candidate is done. Right, very first the personality is observed. So as per the result of the personality, whatever personality the person has, he or she is put to that nature of job. So that is also done in the organization. So these tests aim to explore about the personality of an individual as a whole. Right, how many characteristics does he hold in one personality? According to that, his nature of job is decided and handed over to him. Got the point? So this was all about this type of test. Now let's move on to another type of test. So the next type of test is trade test. See, trade means here the trade is indicating towards a kind of profession. Okay, so these tests are conducted to know the existing skills of an individual in a particular field. Means how much proficiency or expertise does an individual have in a particular field. Okay, just to measure that, these kind of tests are conducted. For example, okay, for the post of clerk, typing speed has to be measured. For that, typing speed tests are conducted. Earlier, the tests were conducted on typewriter, but now on computer, Hindi or English typing. Okay, and as per the accuracy and speed, the marks are allotted, and then the candidates are selected for the further rounds. Right. So this can be there. Say for example, the organization needs to hire one carpenter. Okay, so in that way, they will see the expertise of that carpenter, how many things he can make and how efficiently he can work. So this is the measurement of the existing skills of an individual. And let me tell you, these skills are not developed overnight. An individual has to work hard a lot in the past, so that at present he has developed such expertise or proficiency in that particular field. Okay, or we can take the example of a mechanic. If a mechanic is hired in the organization, then at the time of hiring, his proficiency is just, right? His expertise is just. Similarly, for other kind of professions also. Okay, so these tests are conducted and these are known as trade tests. So any kind of technical field, Wherever the technicians need to work and technical knowledge is required, anybody cannot perform that function. Okay, a person has to undergo various years of training, only then he has developed such kind of skill. Say for example, I want to hire a driver. Okay, and definitely I would like to hire the driver who is having experience and expertise as well as the proficiency in driving. Not any Tom, Dick and Harry I would like to hire as a driver. Understood the point? So these tests are conducted especially for the technical field job in which technicians are required. Okay. Now here the students get confused between trade test and aptitude test. So let me tell you, the trade tests are there to determine the existing skills of an individual which have been developed in past, right? From the past up to present level, they have worked hard and they possess the knowledge. Okay, aptitude test is determined to know the potential of a candidate to learn new skills for future, right? They're not talking about present, they're talking about his potential to learn in future. Means up to what area a person can go, how much more he can develop. So there is a huge difference in that, and that is not used in the technical field, but this is used in technical field, right? Okay, so that is also there. Okay. Now let's talk about the another type of test. So this is the last type of test in the series, interest test. As by the name it is clear, interest means these tests are conducted to determine the interest of the individual. Means in what area a person is interested and what kind of job can be offered to him so that he remains satisfied. Because mostly we see in the jobs, the people leave the job due to being dissatisfied because the work they were performing, that was not interesting them. So interest has to be there. Okay, it is very much important thing. When a person does the job with full heart, then what happens? He gets success. The organization also grows, so as the candidate. Okay, so just to determine the area of interest of the candidate, that in what kind of field he is interested, these tests are conducted and accordingly the jobs are offered. So in these kind of tests, candidate's special liking, fascination, his attraction, his involvement, his inclination to particular kind of activities are judged. Okay, and thereafter those particular tasks are assigned to him so that he can perform them better. Okay, if we see from the organizational point of view, there can be multiple categories of interest. Say for example, investigative, artistic, enterprising, social, conventional. Okay, and according to these interests, they have tasks as well, right? So they conduct a kind of test to know in which category the candidate comes, in what field he is interested, and according to that jobs are offered to him. Okay, now let me tell you one more thing. Students get confused between personality test and interest test. Okay, so let me clarify. Interest test is about the inclination of a person, what he likes to do, what fascinates him, what attracts him. Okay, and that may change also in future, but the personality doesn't change so soon. That is what is reality. Okay, my personality can be like this, that I seem to be a teacher. Okay, but my interest is there in painting, in doing gardening. Understanding the point? So these can be differed, but the combination of two is awesome. If an organization is assigning a job to a person that suits to the interest as well as the personality of that person, then this combination becomes awesome. Then definitely nobody can stop that person from getting success and getting admiration and growth in his career. Okay, so personality is different, that is what the permanent one, and interest keep on changing with the passing of time. Okay, and the personality and interest can be entirely different. Okay, personality is something else and interest is something else. For example, my personal trait can be like this, that I am not emotionally stable. Okay, and my interest is there in serving as an army personnel. So interest is different and personality is different. Understanding the point? Okay, so that is why the various tests are conducted. Personality tests are conducted to know the personal qualities of a person. Okay, and these interest tests are conducted to know the inclination, interest and fascination of the candidate, so that accordingly jobs can be offered to him and tasks can be given to him, so that he also feels happy and satisfied and the organization also grows. Fine. So it is all about this test. So now it's time to conclude. We have understood about all these 5 tests: intelligence test, aptitude test, personality test, trait test and interest test. But as I told you, organization may conduct some other tests as well, but these are not the part of your syllabus. That's why we are not having discussion here. But for your knowledge, you can Google and have more information about them, or in your further classes you are going to learn them. Alright, so this is all for today. Very soon I'm going to meet you in the other video related to the same chapter. Till then, thank you. Bye bye.